Hi, everybody. So today we are still seeing the same type of activity that we had been seeing over the past few days. Things are pretty steady. The Lower East Rift Zone continues to erupt lots of lava fed from several different fissures. There's a complex, fissures 7 and 21, which is in the eastern side of Leilani Estates neighborhood, has produced a broad pond of lava that's spread over the area. It's actually overprinting on top of a flow that erupted earlier on in the eruption about 2 weeks ago. And so it's a big ponded area, and that is not really sending flows down to the south to the ocean entry. There are still two main lava channels being fed from other sources that are a little bit east from that 7 and 21 complex in eastern Leilani Estates, and those two channels are reaching the ocean. So today we only have two ocean entries. There's no split at the end of one of the channels anymore. So that's kind of the newest thing down there. Seismicity is still relatively low, and deformation is pretty flat, so we're not seeing any ground movement up, down, or laterally. Up at the summit, seismicity rates are high. The larger explosive eruptions are occurring every about a little bit more than one per day is the average right now. And we're still seeing continuous, there's some continuous plume out of the summit. It's either really just water vapor, mostly water vapor looking like just a white cloud, and then occasionally there's some ash, and there is significant ashfall that's, well, not significant. There's ashfall that's occurring downwind and affecting communities. We are still getting lots of ashfall reports from the communities that are straight down the trade wind barrel. That's today's. Oh, deformation continues at the summit. We just had an update this morning, and it looked like there was about 1.3 meters of subsidence at the summit so far.
Hi, this is a question for Wendy and anyone else who's familiar with the situation in Leilani Gardens. It appears that those fissures 7 and 21 are producing very large quantities of ash, lava that is pooling, and then once it breaks out, I believe it took out a good chunk of a street last night. I believe up to 8 houses were destroyed. And Wendy, I wonder if you could just talk about that process and just how destructive things are getting there in Leilani Estates.
I can talk a little bit about it. I don't know the number of structures that were destroyed overnight or since Fissure 7 has become active. Yes, you are correct that it began moving kind of up and down one of the main streets. I can't exactly remember what the name of it is. Yeah, I'll have to look it up. So
the street is Kaupili Street.
Okay. So the process that's happening is the topography is relatively flat, and actually there's a bit of an indentation, so just a low-lying topography in this area of Leilani Estates. The fissure is erupting in this area. Lava flows are moving outward, but because there's no significant slope for them to travel down, the lava flow is kind of just filling up that low-lying area, and as it fills up, it's inflating itself from below. So yesterday on the call, I mentioned that there's a crust or like an outer shell of lava that cools really quickly in some of these instances. So it's kind of doing that. It's crusting itself over, and then more lava will come up underneath, and it's kind of pushing the crust out, and that crust will spill over the edges at the margins of this very large pooled area. And it happens, as it's moving up a street, when it's in the vegetated areas or encountering buildings, then it will ignite those things on fire. So it's like a rising tide. That's kind of the way to imagine it. It's not like a river of lava like we're seeing in the channelized areas. It's this tide of lava that rises up and then kind of overflows itself on the edges, and then it just keeps rising and progressing forward slowly, even though there's a large volume of lava coming out of those vents.
And just the volume, would 50 to 60 cubic meters per second be an accurate reading?
Again, we have not gotten some numbers on that yet. We don't know what the effusion rate is.
Thank you.